The Wasteland didn't whisper anymore. It screamed in silence. Once the United States, the land was now nothing but some bleached bones and rusted echoes. Jaxon trudged across the scorched remains of what might have once been Colorado or Utah. Borders didn't matter anymore. The sun hung like a blistered wound in the sky, and every breath tasted like ash. He had left Vault 49 3 winters ago, the steel door sealing behind him, with a hiss that still haunted his sleep. He hadn't looked back. He couldn't, not after what they did to his brother. Raiders had stormed the vault during a rare opening cycle. Blood splashed across metal walls, panic, screams, then silence. His brother Eli had vanished in the chaos, taken, or worse. Now Jaxon followed rumors like ghosts, chasing flickers of hope through towns that reeked of rotten regret. The settlement appeared on the horizon like a mirage with teeth. Rusted shanties, collapsed antennae, skeletal vehicles still smouldering from past fires. But what struck Jaxon was the absence of sound. No voices, no scuffling feet, just the wind, slicing like razors through the dust. As he entered the camp, he expected ambush. Instead, he found the survivors, if they could still be called that, huddled around a guttering fire, skin tight over bone, eyes yellowed with radiation, yet still flickering with something worse than hunger, resignation. The man who called himself Marcus had a voice like broken glass, and a shotgun always within reach. He didn't smile. He didn't ask questions. He just motioned for Jaxon to sit. Over dry bitter beans and radroach meat, Jaxon told them of his brother, of the vault, of the raid, of the dream that maybe somewhere Eli still lived. They listened, not because they believed, but because dreams were rare now, and no one interrupted one while it lasted. Marcus spoke of the raiders, the bone dogs, not a gang, a machine, flesh and rust welded into something too cruel to understand. They didn't demand tribute. They took limbs as warnings, burned children to send messages. This wasn't power. It was artless butchery. Jaxon's knuckles whitened. He stared into the fire until his eyes ached. That night, no one slept. At dawn, they moved. Armed with little more than wipes, rusted rifles, and vengeance, they marched east toward the Bone Dogs compound, an old oil refinery surrounded by impaled corpses, wind chimes made from vertebrae, and the scent of burning hair. The fight wasn't brave. It wasn't heroic. It was desperation made manifest. Screams drowned in gunfire, limbs torn, teeth shattered. Jaxon saw a girl named Lanny rip a man's throat out with her bare hands before she was set ablaze by a flamethrower. When it was over, silence returned. Jaxon staggered into the raider camp, heart pounding like war drums. He searched the wreckage, kicked open doors, tore apart crates, clawed through blood-soaked rags, and then he saw it. A Vault 49 jumpsuit, half buried, the fabric stiff with old blood. The ID tag, ELI. Next to it, a bone saw. Dried flesh still clinging to the teeth. No body, no closure, just evidence. Jaxon didn't cry. He couldn't. The Wasteland had taken that too. He walked out of the refinery as the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting long shadows over a field of corpses. Behind him, the survivors gathered what they could. They would rebuild, or not. Jaxon didn't stay to find out. He walked into the dusk, each step heavier than the last, the jumpsuit folded in his hands like a flag over a forgotten grave. Not toward salvation, just away.